Have you ever had that feeling where your thoughts feel slow, concentration is a struggle, and words just seem to vanish mid-sentence? It's not quite fatigue, and it's not exactly confusion, but something just feels off. This experience is often called brain fog, and while it might seem like a minor annoyance, researchers are realizing it could be something much more significant. In fact, brain fog might be one of the very first warning signs that your body is under metabolic stress. The brain is an incredibly energy-hungry organ. It's only about 2% of your body weight, but it consumes nearly 20% of your body's total energy. This means it relies heavily on a stable and continuous supply of fuel, primarily glucose. Even tiny fluctuations in your metabolic balance can impact how efficiently your brain functions. When glucose delivery becomes unstable, the brain is one of the first organs to notice, and that strange mental haze we call brain fog can be one of the first symptoms. To understand why, imagine your brain as a high-performance engine. It needs clean, stable fuel to run smoothly. Too little fuel, and the engine struggles. Too much at once, and the system gets overwhelmed. But if the fuel supply is unpredictable, the engine sputters. A similar thing happens inside your brain during metabolic stress. Blood sugar starts to fluctuate more dramatically. Insulin signaling becomes less efficient. Inflammation increases, and the brain's energy system becomes unstable. The result is a noticeable drop in cognitive clarity. A key player in this process is glucose metabolism. Under healthy conditions, insulin helps usher glucose into your cells, including your neurons. Energy production inside the mitochondria runs smoothly, and neural communication stays sharp. But when insulin resistance starts to develop, this process becomes inefficient. Cells struggle to absorb glucose, energy production becomes inconsistent, and the brain starts to experience subtle energy shortages. This doesn't cause immediate damage, but it definitely affects how clearly you can think. That's why some researchers now call the brain an energy-sensitive organ. Even mild metabolic instability can alter neurotransmitter balance, weaken your attention, make memory formation less efficient, and plunge your mind into that state we recognize as brain fog. So, what's causing this metabolic instability? A huge factor is sleep. During sleep, your brain is hard at work. It regulates hormones, restores metabolic balance, and activates a remarkable cleaning crew known as the glymphatic system. Think of it as a nighttime sanitation network. During deep sleep, cerebrospinal fluid flows through your brain tissue, washing away metabolic waste products that build up while you're awake, things like toxins and inflammatory molecules. But when sleep is fragmented or insufficient, this cleaning process slows down. Waste accumulates, inflammation increases, and neural communication suffers. Hello, brain fog. Speaking of inflammation, it's another major contributor. As we've discussed before, poor sleep increases inflammatory molecules in your body. These not only affect your immune system, but also your brain. Inflammatory signals can alter the production of neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, directly impacting your mental sharpness and clarity. This is one reason you often feel mentally sluggish when you're feeling unwell or dealing with systemic inflammation. Stress hormones also play a huge role. When you're sleep deprived, levels of the stress hormone cortisol often stay elevated. While cortisol is useful for mobilizing energy in short-term stressful situations, chronically high levels can disrupt neural communication, especially in the hippocampus, a brain region crucial for memory. When the hippocampus isn't operating efficiently, you might find it hard to recall information or maintain focus, a classic description of brain fog. All this metabolic stress also takes a toll on your mitochondria, the tiny power plants inside your cells. Neurons are packed with them. But when inflammation and oxidative stress rise, mitochondrial efficiency drops. Energy production becomes less stable, and your neurons struggle to maintain their activity. Even a slight dip in mitochondrial efficiency can influence your cognitive performance, which might explain why metabolic stress often shows up first as mental fatigue or brain fog. What's really fascinating is what researchers studying metabolic disorders have found. Many people who eventually develop type 2 diabetes report experiencing persistent brain fog for years beforehand. This suggests that cognitive symptoms can appear long before the metabolic disease becomes obvious through traditional medical tests. It's as if the brain is acting as an early warning system, detecting an imbalance long before it shows up elsewhere. The link between metabolism and cognition is so strong that some scientists have started calling Alzheimer's disease type 3 diabetes. This reflects the idea that in some neurodegenerative conditions, insulin signaling within the brain becomes impaired. When that happens, neurons struggle to regulate energy, inflammation increases, and cognitive function declines. Now, having brain fog certainly doesn't mean you'll develop a neurodegenerative disease, but it absolutely highlights the critical connection between your metabolism and your brain health. Even simple blood sugar fluctuations can trigger brain fog. You know that feeling after a meal heavy in refined carbs. Your blood sugar spikes, your body releases a surge of insulin to manage it, and then your blood sugar crashes. This rapid change can leave your brain temporarily underfueled, leading to mental fatigue and difficulty concentrating. If this happens repeatedly, brain fog can become a more frequent visitor. Your internal body clock, or circadian rhythm, adds another layer to this. It regulates hormone release, metabolism, and energy recovery. When irregular sleep schedules disrupt your circadian rhythms, your metabolic signals get misaligned. Insulin sensitivity drops, cortisol rises at the wrong times, and energy regulation becomes inefficient. Your brain feels the effects, and cognitive clarity suffers. Our modern lifestyles have created a perfect storm for this problem. Late-night screen time, chronic stress, irregular sleep schedules, and highly processed diets all contribute to metabolic instability. And your brain is often the first to send out an SOS. Just look at shift workers. They frequently report persistent cognitive fatigue, even after getting enough hours of sleep. Studies confirm that shift work disrupts circadian alignment, leading to less efficient metabolic regulation, higher inflammation, and more brain fog. But here's the really encouraging news. These processes are often reversible. Improving your sleep quality can make a huge difference. When sleep becomes more consistent, cortisol rhythms normalize, inflammation declines, and glucose regulation stabilizes. As your metabolic signals come back into balance, cognitive clarity often returns. This tells us that brain fog isn't necessarily permanent damage. It's a reversible signal of imbalance. Physical activity is another powerful tool. Exercise improves insulin sensitivity, mitochondrial function, and blood flow to the brain. Many people notice a sharp improvement in mental clarity with regular exercise, which reflects better metabolic communication between the body and brain. Nutrition is just as important. Meals that balance proteins, healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates prevent those dramatic glucose spikes and crashes, which helps stabilize brain function and reduce brain fog. The emerging scientific view is that the brain functions best in a state of metabolic harmony, stable glucose, balanced hormones, low inflammation, and efficient energy production. Sleep is one of the most powerful regulators of this harmony. It's the time when your entire system resets and restores. Without that nightly restoration, metabolic signals drift out of alignment, and cognitive clarity pays the price. So, The next time you experience that hazy, unfocused feeling, don't just dismiss it. Brain fog may not simply be a mental problem. It may be a metabolic message, a signal that your brain's energy system is struggling, a warning that your sleep, hormones, and metabolism are out of balance. And if brain fog is one of the earliest signs of metabolic disruption, it could be one of the most important clues your body gives you to restore that balance, long before any disease becomes visible. Thanks for watching, and if you found this helpful, be sure to like and subscribe for more insights into how your body and mind work together.